Conor, how are things?
Good, thank you very much. All good.
How are you after Friday night? Did you get some minutes under the belt after sitting out the week before?
Yeah. I was hungry to get back and get a bit of game time. So, a tough travel for us with Munster. We were buses down to Cork and flights to Bristol and buses again. But no, overall it was nice to get out there and get a bit of game time and match fitness into me. We always want to keep playing week on week, so it was a nice opportunity to get back and play with the boys.
On the start that Ireland have had since the World Cup, like you've been involved in a good few campaigns and a good few World Cups where coming in the following season there hasn't necessarily been a fast start. This has probably been the best start Ireland have had since you've been involved in a post World Cup Six Nations campaign. What do you put that down to, that you've been able to hit the ground so fast?
Yeah, we were talking in the other room there. You're right. It's been really, really impressive. I think as a staff, coaches, players, I think we can be proud of the fact we've, the disappointment of the World Cup was huge. It was me personally, and I'm sure all the other players will agree. It was a huge blow, given the opportunity we had over there. And teams do struggle after World Cup years. It's a bit of a trend, and like I said, we can be proud that we've kind of shaken it off and continued to grow as a group. What I put it down to, just the environment and the culture we have. I think I was saying inside I'd like to be a few years younger and be starting off on this journey with Ireland, because you can see where this team can go and the potential it has, and we're ever growing, ever evolving, and the potential of this team is really high. So who knows where it can go to. And I suppose getting back into camp, we talk about how enjoyable it is, how challenging it is, and once lads got back in, we just kept, we reviewed the World Cup and whatever, and learned from our mistakes. And I suppose the excitement and the appetite to grow our game again, and keep inspiring people through our performances is still there. Now it did knock us a bit, but I think again we can be proud of how we've reacted and handled it.
You said there like you'd like to be one of the younger players. Obviously your contract is coming up at the end of this season. Is that something that's in the process of being sorted out? Like, would you hope to be playing for Ireland and Munster beyond the summer? Yeah, look, as long as, again, we asked it a minute ago, as long as you're fit and you're able to contribute at this level, international level, then you want to be involved in the club game and the international game for as long as you can physically do it. And I feel great at the moment. Like I said, I went back at the weekend and felt sharp, felt match fit, and for as long as they'll have you here, I'll happily stay. Yeah. And just the last one for me, the fact that you would have played inside someone like Johnny Sexton for so long, when you see how long he kept going and was able to play up to a high standard, does that kind of give you a sense of what needs to be done to do it? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Johnny was incredibly professional. His last game, he was obviously 38, and he played 80 minutes against New Zealand, and that shows you what can be done. You look after yourself properly and you do all the right things, and you still have that drive, and that's the standard, I suppose, or he set the bar there. So 38 would be nice to reach that level, but who knows. But at the moment, feel good and enjoying it.
Conor, what have you thought of Jack's performances so far in the number 10?
Really, really impressive. Yeah, I think anyone who gets a chance in the number 10 jersey now, since Johnny obviously has retired, and the players that have played 10 before, it's a really famous jersey. Comes with an awful lot of pressure, and I've been impressed with Jack, how he seems to be not phased. There's obviously pressure from the outside, pressure. He's putting pressure on himself, but it doesn't really show. I think, you can talk about all his attributes as a player, but the way he's unfazed really, in terms of, we talked about it after the French game. Everyone had good moments, bad moments, and Jack spoke in the group about, a couple of mistakes and how he bounced back from them. So I think that ability to move on to the next moment, again, kind of a cliche thing you'd hear from sports people, but he really does. If he does make a mistake, he'll very often follow it up with something really positive in the game. So I think really impressed with his all-round game, but just mainly his ability to to move on from, whether it be a good moment or you know, a negative moment. He can quickly, you know, forget that. And I suppose as a 10 who's leading us around the field, you know, it's really important that he's not hanging on to anything like that. So I think that mentality side of it has been really impressive for me.
Yeah, is that really enjoyable to play with then, and also because it doesn't hinder you if there are mistakes?
Yeah, it's really enjoyable playing with Jack. I think he's quite calm. You know, just even when you're in the middle of a test match and you're playing with him, the tone of voice and the chat is still really relaxed, and he's, you know, again, that's probably why he's able to move on from things. He's quite calm, and he has a very good understanding of what he's trying to do. He's still a young 10. You know, if you think about Johnny when he was that age, I'm sure he was still learning and you know, making mistakes and doing really good things too. So Jack, that's just part of the journey for Jack, and you know, he's been really impressive, and he's very well respected within the group.
Just go back to what you were kind of saying about Johnny there. Like, my impression from the outside is like almost enjoyed it more in the last couple of years. He was smiling more.
Yeah, which is rare.
Yeah, well, it was rare before that. But like, can you feel that yourself? Do you feel more relaxed? Do you enjoy this more than maybe when you were in your 20s?
I don't know if I feel more relaxed. There's definitely pressure to, because you're one of the older players, to, you know, pressure to still perform and still prove it to your teammates. Like every player in the squad is under that pressure too. But that side of things, there's probably a little bit more pressure, but that just drives you again to be involved in this squad. You know, it's a really special place. We've all said it. We'll continue to say it. So the drive to be in and be selected is definitely there. But definitely in terms of enjoyment, you know, you don't know how many more campaigns or games or whatever you'll have, and you definitely appreciate it. Not that you never took it for granted, but you really get an understanding of how big it is, particularly this team, and I suppose how we feel connected with the public and what we're trying to do in terms of inspiring people to play. It's a really lucky and privileged place to be in, and you want to be in it for as long as possible. So yeah, enjoying it and appreciating it definitely a little bit more than you probably have done before.
In your engagements with the public, do you feel like you are doing that? I know John said after the World Cup you felt like you almost won. I can't remember the exact.
Yeah. 100%. When we meet up for camp and you're knocking around Dublin or out in Carton House and you bump into people, there's especially younger kids and all, there's a good excitement. There's an excitement that we've always seen when you're playing with Ireland, but probably that a little bit more. I don't know, is there a little bit more of a connection with the public and the younger generation, or else I'm just appreciating a little bit more. But I think it's definitely grown. Particularly over the last few years, you know, and the World Cup included in that, you know, we've had some fantastic days out and memories, and we've enjoyed them as players. But I think, you know, the public have definitely enjoyed watching us play, and I suppose you'd hope they see what it means for us to play for Ireland, and you know, that's always been talked about, playing for Ireland and how much it means, but you know what effect you have on people, you know, whether it be a young kid that's there for the first time seeing you play, and then seeing a match day in Aviva or away or whatever. I suppose we're more aware of that.
Conor, what do you have to do different physically now as an older player? Like the likes of Johnny, Roy Keane, we've heard them all, percentages of body fat, foam rollers. What is it that you need to do to...
Plenty of foam rollers. Just recovery, I suppose, is one of the main things I've definitely focused on or upped in the last few years. You know, just making sure your body's right for training. We're in a high demanding environment that's very physically challenging at times, and especially games. So just making sure you're able to turn up and perform like you were when you're younger. You know, I suppose when you're younger, you can probably do it a little bit easier. You can play a game, and recovery is that bit easier. So I think just being really diligent on the recovery side of things, and making sure your body's right, because obviously as you get older playing rugby, you do tend to pick up a few bangs along the way, and it's such a competitive environment. Like in terms of positions, we're 3-4 deep in most positions with high competition levels. So just trying to give yourself the best chance to be competitive in those areas. So yeah, as an older fella, recovery is definitely one of the standout things for me.
Just on that, are you a different player physically now than you were when you would have come into this team back in whatever World Cup 10 years ago?
Yeah, I'd hope I'm better physically in terms of, you know, the training you've received from the S&C staff and all that throughout the years has definitely been a benefit in terms of all areas, strength, speed, all that stuff. But you'd like to think you're in a better place than you were when you were 21, 22, coming in probably underdeveloped or not fully developed as an international rugby player. So I hope Jason and Kieran Ruddock are hearing this, that they've done a pretty good job.